Hey guys, and welcome back. We got a new team that's working really well for me. You can see I'm up over the Royal Arena. Actually going through here, I've been able to get up to 2090 so far, sitting well above that level. I've got a magical chest here I wanted to open. We'll go ahead and do that here before we get started. You can see some things coming out of there. Nice chunk of gold. And what else? We're going to get some cannons and goblins. We got 5 left. We get the barb hut. Nice. Haven't been using them as much lately. There's the elixir collector. Looking forward to integrating that maybe a little bit more with my deck. You see a lot of the high level characters, players using that. Never bad to get some wizards and balloons for the epic card. Alright, so we got through that. I want to show some of the videos for some of the matches that got me up into this Royal one. You can check out the deck. The cards that I'm using here, like I said, it's working out really well. We'll do our first one with the Builder's Workshop here against the Penetrator. We'll see what chance he has to penetrate these defenses. We got a lot of good games here, and it's always going to be the same deck. This is kind of a variation on the last one. We'll do arrows here, and one thing you noticed early, this is a combo that I come up against periodically. You get some decks from other teams where they're going to have Minion Horde and that the Barrel of Goblins. And maybe even they'll use regular minions. They'll do some things where you'd want to use your arrows. Then once the arrows are out, it's hard to deal with the other defense. But both of those can be they can be short-term wins. Right? You can get some good damage in, but only for a short time. So the core of this deck is using the mortar. I've really come to enjoy the mortar. It's got some really powerful uses for offense, but also can be flopped around and used for defense as well, and I think that makes it more versatile. But this deck has got 2 buildings, as you can see, the bomb tower and the mortar. And you'll see as we go through these battles a couple different ways that these are used. Bomb tower, usually it's got the same use all the time, it's just super effective. Being used that way, throw the arrows, kill those goblins right away. And so now we're going to get that minion horde, and we've got to throw something else out there instead. Now here, it's not even an aerial attack unit. We're just going to put out someone with high health. It's a bad trade, but it's the best we can do here. In terms of elixir, it's a bad trade. We end up having to use 6 or 7, I guess, elixir on that one. But he just used 4, and we countered it with our arrows, so we got a little up on that one as well. And similarly, he just used 6 on our 2 elixir mortar. So you can see some of these trades going back and forth. Overall, this deck works well that way. You get some good trades. His deck is a particular type. He's looking for a weakness. People that don't have the fireball and arrows, but there's some other weaknesses involved as well. So he's going to throw in his team, bring those goblins. They'll get a couple hits in, and that's where I made my big mistake. It's the biggest mistake you're going to see here. I threw the arrows to the right, just a slip, trying to get to a different button, and was going to end up taking a lot of damage and some punishment because of that. We get down just a little bit of life left, but luckily we've got his towered there down to 750. I think if we hadn't missed on that last shot, we would have been doing really well. It would have been finished with a 1-0. You're going to see as this continues on, we'll end up going into overtime with one lost tower each. So he'll do the fireball. We'll take out his minions and start overtime pretty well even. 1 tower to 1 tower, and not a lot of progress made on either one of the others. So we're going to drop out, put our... I like to do this mortar and then Valkyrie combination, because pretty much anything you've got that goes in there, unless they put out a building, any kind of characters they throw out there, we're still going to get 1 or 2 shots off at the least. So that can work out really, really well. The nice thing is we are only defending one side now, so that gives us a little bit of a benefit as well for our towers. Really a lot more defense than what they're working with. And we threw in that Valkyrie down at the bottom, take them out really quickly with our double bomb towers, and we've got a good group going in to do some damage even while the mortar is going. And so he takes it out with a rocket, but we've still, all this time, we're doing a lot of damage. We're down to 12 seconds. We need 1 more shot. You'll see how this goes. You get 1 shot off and then use the rocket. That's all it takes. We're able to take down a single tower or a whole tower full health in that 60-second overtime period. still had, I think, 1700 health on our tower. So a nice one going through there. If I hadn't made the mistake, it would have been 1-0 early on. That's one of the worst mistakes I've made in a match. Yeah, I lose fairly often. I mean, everyone's losing, right? They're getting stuck at a certain point. Sometimes it's not mistakes, though. It's just going up against level 8 characters, and they're just too powerful with all their higher level characters to do anything with. But that certainly was a rough mistake to make. So here we go in again, as always, trying to set out a unit that has an advantage. There it was, the marksman, and setting them a little ways away from our tower so the tower's not taking any damage. Now they sacrificed using a spell as well, putting them at a little further behind for elixir. So that was a 4+2 for that spell, up to 6 elixir points. And then our marksman only took 4. So, they got a little bit of damage in there, but it was also at a cost. Now we're going to go in with our regular mortar and Valkyrie, do some damage on both sides. And that's the nice thing, we can send our Valkyrie out that way. Now we've got our double archers. I used to do the spear throwing goblins and upgraded it here for a couple reasons. Those archers can really help out in a couple situations that makes it, I think, worthwhile. And the number one is they can't be taken out with arrows. And that gives you a lot more survivability if they're in the back row and you've got a battle going on and someone throws arrows in and they're just going to take out a bunch of your guys. At least with this route with the archers, they're still going to keep living if they're not taking any other direct damage. So that's the biggest thing that's really helping out. So here, we're going to lose that cannon, but we did take out, we're going to lose that mortar, I should say, but we did take out that tower. We've got to get behind here and take out the mage that's doing most of the damage while they've got that poison spell going. But we've got lots and lots of health left. We can take out this golem. The golems on their own, not a lot of threat, by themselves. They're not doing a lot of damage. They're just soaking up a lot of damage. So we didn't really take a lot from that effort. Now we don't have our tower ready, and that's the issue here, but we can pull some of this damage off to the side using our mortar. We got one of the barbs to take the bait, and just a delay. We really could have used our other tower at that point to do a lot more damage, but at least it gave us another way to keep everything going without taking any more damage. Now as well, this mortar's now got to, the golem's got to work his way through all the way over. He's almost out, just has the little baby ones left by the time he gets there, and we're in good shape. We've recovered in terms of elixir, and we're ready to continue defending. Now if he had a rocket or something, he'd be able to continue from here, but he's not going to be able to burn us down in time with just that poison spell. So probably not the best battle we had here, but another victory, getting through with just a little shaving left of health on that one. Alright, and with that victory we made it into the Royal Arena. So here's our first battle in the Royal Arena. You can see both of us right on the edge with trophies, trying to get into the Royal Arena at that 2,000 trophy mark. Letting the elixir pile up, it's always a good, if I've got the option, I go with the Bobber Tower as a first move, usually, if it's out there. It just gives me a lot of defense, because then I can move into this next one. My favorite thing is to go with this combination, do the Valkyrie, do the mortar, and then I can kind of adjust from there, but it does make you vulnerable. You're out, 8 elixir between the two of them. That can really take you down quite a way, so it's nice to have a defensive building up ahead of time before you do that. Once in a while, I'll lead with the mortar and Valkyrie combination, but it really does. I get punished for that periodically when they throw a whole lot of troops in on the other side with a quick defense. That can really cost you. So coming back around, now that we've done some damage, now we're back. We were a little bit elixir starved doing that damage. Now we've got to recover a little bit, so playing defense, trying to get in here. It's the hard thing when someone uses a giant. You've got to try to burn them out before the balloon. If they use a giant with the balloon, it can be really hard to target that balloon, so we're taking pretty heavy damage here. And then also the bomb. So down to 600, they still end up having the better end of that deal, of that damage. We can take a couple shots here, and we're going to get our mortar back out. A little bit elixir starved, but we get a single shot in there before our arrows are ready to take out that minion horde. And again, you can see the difference in elixir here. every time we do a push, there's we get a little further behind on the elixir, and they've got those elixir generators over there as well. But once we get to ×2, it's a lot easier because they don't have as long of a period in between. If you do spend a lot of elixir, it doesn't take as long to recover. So here we'll try to take this guy out as quickly as possible. The nice thing is you can put out like skeletons and not take as much damage. We get that balloon out before it does any other damage to us, and we're in pretty good shape. With only 869 health left on that far right tower, we can take it out while taking out the elixir generator. It was really a bad place for them to put that anyway. Just knowing that we have rockets is just enticing us to use that and take them out early. Now, I know with that much health left, that's maybe a single hit from the mortar and a rocket. That's all it would take to take out that tower. And I really like getting to this last couple seconds, because when you get to overtime, when you get to that sudden death, it really doesn't take much to finish it off. Now, if they had a fireball, if they had a rocket, they'd be able to end us, but that's not part of what they've got. They're working with these balloons. I mean, if they had those things as well, they wouldn't have been able to do these hard pushes either. You're going to see we've got to finish off these guys, take out that balloon. Now, again, they only need like one more arrow shot, but we've got a rocket ready to finish off their tower. Yeah, that combination with the giant and the balloon can work out really well, but obviously it's going to have some weaknesses as well. Alright, these last two battles. I saved the very last one, or the best for last. I think we've got one more in between there. Really coming in, getting the strategy down with this. You see here we led off with the mortar and the Valkyrie. Like I said, kind of a dangerous position. We'll see what happens, how much we get punished for doing it. There's a lot of energy. They've got the 3 musketeers, and I don't have a whole lot of anything to answer back with. So we do just a few delays. We get the skeletons out. Ideally, I'd like to have the Valkyrie there. That would have been the best unit to plop right in the middle of them and take them out quickly. So we did take heavy damage, worse damage than we were able to inflict on them. Actually might have been similar since they're level 7 and we're only level 6. Probably that life difference might make up the difference, but it certainly was a close call. And we've got the bomb tower out now for a little bit of additional defense. Most of the time there's one tower that's getting attacked a little more than the other. I always put my bomb tower 3 back from the front line and in the direction of the tower I want to defend. That'll pull more of the troops over towards it that way. That seems to be the best positioning I can do with it. If you put it any further back than 3 back, you're going to end up not being able to pull over some of the troops. So got our Valkyrie out there in defense, trying to just give it a little bit of assistance. They dropped the cannon in there, so that gives us a little bit of trouble as well, but we'll be able to take out this cannon before dying without doing any additional damage. Just kind of saving up elixir, trying to figure out how we're going to take down the rest of that health. And as always, I prefer the defense, especially with a tower down at the 760 mark for health. Gotta deal with this giant skelly again. And he'll get pulled over, and we'll see what they put in behind him. Normally I like to drop in those skellies a little bit sooner. I was kind of waiting to see if they had any area damage. I was going to take them out right away. Drop in my own mini skellies. But I had the Valkyrie ready at this point, and that really helped out, so I'm just waiting for them to, or for that bomb to go off so I can drop my other stuff in there. If I had a mortar, that's when I would have put it in. If I had one to put in right in front of my tower, it would have been a great time right after that bomb goes off. So we got 30 seconds left. I'm gonna try to get this one in, do a little bit of damage, take out that one, and all their troops that come in to try to take out our mortar are going to have to deal with constant bombs dropping down on them. And once that's done, our guys can get in through there a little bit extra. And we still haven't made any real progress. We've got a good team going in here with a lot of health now. We can shoot off the rocket and make a little bit more progress again. One more hit from that, from I'd say either direction. If we get one more rocket out, we could take them as well. And we get that final mortar shot across. So just kept dropping guys right in front of the mortar. It can be really, really frustrating to deal with that. You know, if you don't have a building up, it's just going to keep shooting at that, and the other troops are within that range. It's just going to keep shooting at that tower. So it can be a real pain to deal with. So we start off again with this combination. We're going to put it in and try to just defend our mortar, get a couple shots off, and we get those skellies out as well. It's not really to take out their guy, it's more just to give that thing a little bit more time to take a couple extra shots on those towers. We've got our Valkyrie, but there's nothing really to put behind for now. It's a little too dangerous. We don't have any way to defend. So I wouldn't, you know, you could have put the mortar out right away and done a little extra damage, but I think that makes you a little too vulnerable. Those are kind of offensive moves without a lot of defense. And even the rocket is, but at this point that takes away their ability to pull in all that extra elixir from the collector while taking that tower down a little further. But this is a level 8 player, and their units are much higher level. You know, just across the board, I think we've got higher levels for all of these. So let's go ahead and see. I kind of changed into a defensive posture with the buildings here. I really I liked doing it this way. You'll see how well this works. So going with the mortar behind, now that I've got that tower down to 869 health at this point in the game, I know I can finish it off with just rockets. I don't have to use the mortar anymore. It's a little bit harder and riskier to use the mortar, but it also does more damage. So at this point, I can just hold off and just finish it off with rockets. Now, since I saw they put out the elixir collector, I know their elixir's down, so I shoot off the rocket, so I know now I'm only 2 rockets away, or 1 mortar hit and a rocket away from finishing off this tower. And both of our towers are in really good positions. So our biggest goal here is just to defend, but we see an opportunity with them putting a giant so far back, and they move so slowly, it gives us a chance to take a couple more shots off at that tower and do some area damage on those troops that are coming in at the same time. Now it's cut down to 74, we could finish it off with just about anything. All we really need to do is clog that area up and wait for the final 30 seconds to pass by. And the Valkyrie comes in so handy in that kind of situation. We can double up with our bomb towers as well, and if we needed, even put the mortar in there just to absorb some damage and act as a target. We've got plenty of health. So that was really it. No real risk for the rest of this. Just a really nice combination of cards with versatility to work in a lot of different situations. Well, that's it for now. That was going to be kind of what it took to get us up to the Royal Arena. Wanted to share that with everybody. Pretty short progress to get up there. Didn't take too long. We'll come back with some more updates when we get a little further along and share again. Thanks again for watching. See everyone soon.
If you like this, then you're going to love what we have coming out next. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more mobile gaming videos, or check out the rest of the channel for more tips and tricks. If you don't have this game yet, feel free to download it from the sponsored link in the video description below. These downloads help to support the channel and help us to continue to put out more great videos. Thanks again for all your support, and come back soon as we continue our quest, seeking every possible advantage.